Hey, everybody, welcome. Let me get things going over here. Let's make sure you guys are on.
Hazel, I'm going to say this as no.
Let me make sure you guys are on. Oh, no, we're broadcasting today. Okay, so I see you. Hey, everybody, welcome. Okay, so let me get your volume up over here so you guys can hear me and stuff.
Hazel, I'm going to say this as no.
Yeah, I got a little bit of her on. Sorry, Christy, didn't mean it. Oh, no, we're broadcasting today. Okay, so here we go. Let me get TikTok started and then we'll get going. I think today might be a short day for doing this. And the reason being,
It looks like cat ears.
there's Christy again. Because what we want to do is we want to paint the yellow frosting onto the house itself. And so I'm going to try and thin it out today because yesterday went out kind of clumpy. I wasn't very happy about it. Let me get this changed up here. Things to do before getting into TikTok. Okay. Just give me a second here. Figure out what gift we want. If anybody gives us any gifts. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. Let's see what we can do here. Too expensive. I try to keep the cost down on the gifts for everybody, much as I can. I'm doing good with the sundaes. We'll see with the chocolate sundaes. Let me see if I can find it. So I'm going to try and mix that. So I'll try and pull it out there. We'll try and mix it and see if I can thin it out, which would be huge. That's why we may not be on a long time today. I'm on time for once, so we may not be on a long time today. But we'll see where it is at. Beautiful day outside. Rain's gone for at least another week and a half, 2 weeks. Got to get my car worked on and get my doors. There we go. I'm going to go for 10 of these bad boys. Confirm. Okay. Because my door sticks. It always sticks when it rains. But lately it's been doing it when it's not raining. So it really, it's an issue. Okay. So nobody's on with me today. Hello. What happened, you guys? Where'd you go? Huh? Am I still on? Let me go look. Let me make sure I'm still there. Am I still there? Okay, so I see you. Hey, everybody, welcome. Okay. So let me get your volume up over here so you guys can hear. Let me wait. Make sure I'm still there. Let's make sure I'm still there. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So nobody's on with me today. Okay. Hello. So we're here. Okay. So I want to make sure you guys are watching. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go live over here and we're going to get started. Make sure my volume's up over here. And we're live. So let me get this thing settled and we're ready to go. All right, let me get positioned. Let me assume the position on TikTok. Put my phone in. We're assuming the position on TikTok. All right, welcome everybody. Hello. Back to the cookie build. Today we're going to do something a little different. It might not take that long today. We may not be here that long. Hi everybody, welcome. So we may not be here that long today doing the build. Yesterday, I'll show you what we did yesterday. And this is where we're at right now. We needed to paint the yellow paint for the house. And it looks like that. It's that color. But my biggest mistake. Hi, how's it going? Hi, Melissa Reed. The biggest mistake I made was I should have thinned it out. And I did not thin it out. So I'm going to thin it out today. And I'm going to do a repaint on the front. So what we're probably going to end up getting done today is if I can get it thinned out enough to where it's viable to use and paint on, we'll probably just get that painted on because there's not much else we could do with this, Thank you for the art me. So let me pull this. And I've got a little top from one of my drinks here. And we're going to add some water in there. And we're going to thin it out. And we're going to see, if that helps us in the long run to get this thing painted up. So let me get over here. I'll just squeeze that overnight. Or some of it did. So I'm going to squeeze some in here. I don't want to use it all because this is what they want us to glue it together with. Put some in there. Isn't that lovely frosting? Okay. Like I said, I don't want to use this all because this is what they intend for us to put the roof and the walls together with, to put them up. Hello, welcome everybody. So let's see if I can get this thinned out, okay? Because that was our main problem yesterday, was it just wasn't thinned out. So here I go. I'm going to put some water in there. Pray for me. Add a little bit of water and then stir it. Because the idea is to thin it out. Because even though I was messing with it yesterday, shaking it up and everything, it still wasn't getting thinned out enough to even really apply with a paintbrush. It was just going on like I might as well be making stucco, with it. So we're going to mix it and thin. I may have used too much water. So we'll find out. Okay, let me grab a paintbrush and see if we, I'll paint in this side wall to see if I have it. I might have done too much water. So let me grab a paintbrush and we're going to run a test here. I'm going to do it inside. I'm going to flip one of these walls over for fun and then reach in there and grab some. It's coming off. I think I did too much. I'm going to have to add more. And it's like I can't win. Yeah, it's almost too thin now. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more frosting. I did just too much frosting. I made it too thin. It's too blinking watery right now. We're just trying to thin it. If I had milk, it'd be over. I don't have any milk. At least not right now. Let me add a little bit more in there. We'll thicken it up a little bit more. I got way too much water in there. I can tell you that right now. So I'm just going to throw some more of this in here. As far as putting it together, I mean, I can go get like this color. They have cheesecake colored frosting mix. Like Duncan Hines or Pillsbury or whatever. So, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be completely out of mix if I use it like this. But we want it somewhat thick, but we don't want it overly thick like it was yesterday. I still may end up pouring this water out. Nor do I want it to land on my regular backdrop I use for my radio show. Yeah, I just use too much water. Overkill on water. Okay, let me get something here. We're going to do this. Just hang on. Let me borrow this cup I use for my batteries. For my recharging batteries. We're going to go ahead and pour some of this water out. Try and keep it cool. There we go. There we go. There. Maybe that'll help. Make sure I don't roll over and make a mess. That would suck if it fell. So let's just keep stirring. See if I can get this stuff going here. Get it mixed. Now that looks like a nice, see that? That's a nice thickness right there. So, okay. So that turned into, that's a nice thickness. I'm going to add a little more in there. That's a nice thickness right there. Here, let me run a test on this side piece here. Yeah, right there. That's a good thickness. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start, I'll do that since I was messing with this one. I'm going to go ahead and paint this one, okay? Let me get my area up here so you can see what I'm doing. Let me close the water off so I don't spill it. That would suck. That would be very bad. And I apologize, no music in the background. Facebook thing. YouTube thing. I know I'm not supposed to say those names on TikTok, but sometimes you can't help it. All right, let me get up here and grab this so you guys can see what I'm doing. So like I said, it may be an early day today, because we're going to paint the exterior. And once all the exterior is painted, we're just going to stop and let it dry. Oh, wow. Good, Ishmael. Awesome. I mean to say Pray for me. Absolutely. Okay, so let's do this. And like I said, it may be a short day. So we're going to see, okay? Depending on how this goes. Because we're going to have to let it dry anyway. This looks like it's really nice texture now. Okay, so see, I got that glob right there. Maybe not. Maybe it has to be thicker, you know. May have to be thicker with it. I may still have to go a little thicker with it. We add a little more in. I can see it going on. I'm going to make it just a little more thicker. Not a lot, but enough so the paintbrush can grab it, you know. Just going to grab some of this stuff that came out. Grab some of the stuff that came out last night while it was in storage. Make it just a little thicker. Just a little thicker. I think we got this. But like I said, primarily I want to paint the outside, and then that'll probably do it for this. For now, for today. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow in a minute. So, see, we want it like that consistency right there. Because before it was just too thick. This may be it. Let's see. All right, let's try it now. So we want it to come on there, and then we want to slap on it here. I don't know. It looks awfully thin. I don't know, guys. Unless it dries yellow. If it dries yellow, we're looking good. You know what I mean? I could go a little thicker with it, I think. But it has to be thinned out. There's just no other way. So really, until it dries, I'm not going to know what it looks like. Let me flip it around, see what it looks like. Oh, yeah. See, it's yellow? Okay, we got it. See it? It has to be that color yellow. So we do have it. It is going that color. So, all right, let's paint this bad boy. In fact, on this one, where's the big brush? Right here. We're going to grab this guy. So there it is. So we got this. So the thicker the coat, the better off it's going to be today. But like I said, we'll probably get these things painted, and then we'll have to let them dry overnight to take the next steps with it. Christmas vacation. We still have the other gingerbread house to go that, you know, that collapsed on us because the frosting was too old. I've got the roof on that. That's just waiting for us to get back to it. But we won't get back to it until after we're done with this one. This one, I'm figuring at least another week. Unless I can figure out a good flow to get the little tiny dot lights on it. But I'm figuring out at least another week to get this one done. Because this is only the first few steps. I'm going to try and smooth this out as much as I can. It should look okay. Like I said, it'll probably be a short day today. Doing this. Good to see you all. Welcome. TikTok, if you could help me out, I'm looking for at least 30,000 likes today. If you could tap that screen, and if you haven't followed before, now would be a good time to follow. I not only do things like this, I also do tarot card readings in the evenings for 4 hours, and they're free. So if you like a tarot card reading, hit me up. So let's see how it looks in the light. I can't tell how it looks in the light until I flip it around. Look at that. See that? That's what it's supposed to do. See how yellow that is? Now here's the original color. See, that looks yellow on its own. However, that's why I don't want to be the original color. I think this looks a little more yellow. See how that looks a little more yellow compared to this? See, you got the original and then you got that. See how much more yellow that is? That's what we want, is the more yellow. Probably, too, by the time I get done painting all the other ones, I'll be able to come back and do a second coat on here. All right, so let's get on with this. And I got a brush that's ripping. Cheap brushes. I have really good brushes for my other projects, but I didn't want to use one of my super good brushes on this because frosting stick on everything. All right, so that one's pretty much done. So we're going to grab another one. And like I said, this might be an early day for us today. I'm actually on time for once. Good to see you all. One person watching me on that end. One thing with the other network, I am hitting decent numbers. All my numbers, there really hasn't been anything below the 50s. I feel like 50, 60 people watching me. I've hit 100, 200 people over there. And then TikTok, of course, I'm slamming numbers. This is drawing pretty fast, so I'll probably be able to do a second coat, which is what I want to do. So there's that one. So let's do this other big one. Well, we'll do this other side here. See, all these windows have been done. They've all been lined. Good to see you all. I will be back at 6:30 p.m. Pacific to do free tarot card readings tonight. So I'll be on the lookout for that, you guys. But this is just fun projects. I the holidays were weird because I don't know, there wasn't enough hours in the day for me. Like last year now I was able to completely focus on doing these projects. And this year, with the other show, I had to fit this into the day. This is all a build up too for me. And I'm real excited about it because I want to bring my podcast back. And I have to get used to being up during the day because normally with my night show, I get done like 11. I'm up till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then I'm sleeping until noon or 1 o'clock on the next day. And then there's just enough time to run to the store, clean the house, do whatever I need to do. Hi, Mommy. Yes, it is, Mommy. No psychic readings right now. This is me doing mindless stuff and enjoying myself doing it. But so I have to get used to this. If I want to do my radio show again, I'll probably start doing it during the day at noon, which gives me time to have a rest in between doing the radio show itself and doing the night show. So I don't have to be rushed. So some of this too, figuring out the time to do this in between running errands and stuff is kind of like building up my system so that I'm not exhausted doing 2 shows. Because that's where I want to be. Is doing 2 shows a day, but doing my regular radio show because I miss it. It's good to see everybody. I always laugh about this because everybody on TikTok, their face is filtered. I don't care who it is. So this is my Barbie face over here on TikTok. That's my real face over on the other one. The other 2. Okay. So we're going to let this stuff dry. I'll probably do 2 coats today because it should dry pretty fast. This room is really warm. So I'm sure it's going to dry really fast. I'll be able to slam a second coat on this stuff before I call it a day here. Then what I'll do is I'll get out of here and I'll go home and have my dinner. And then I'll take a 1.5 hour rest before I do the other show. Readings take a lot out of you. A lot of psychics won't tell you that, but it does. Okay, I think we're good. These are going to be the edges anyway on this guy. Definitely has helped thinning it out, but probably multiple coats, but that's okay. All right, let's see what it looks like. Shall we? Shall we see what it looks like? Then I'll move on to a bigger piece. For my luck, I'll pick it up and drop it because that's how my luck runs. See how nice and yellow? See how nice and yellow that is? Again, normal color for this is like that. See how that looks kind of yellow? But you can see the difference with this on, where this is more of a yellow tone as opposed to that. You got this one Thank you. Thank you so much for what is that? That is really cool. Thank you, Shelly. That was sweet. What is that? Popular. Oh, mermaid. Thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't know there was a mermaid. Cool. So you can see the difference between this yellow and that yellow. See how it's more yellow? That's what you want. So let that dry, and we'll paint that one. That is really cool. Thank you for the mermaid, Shelly. I'll have to look those up tonight. Those are cool. I didn't know they were there. We'll have to come up with a Little Mermaid song, huh? For Little Mermaid. All right, I'm going to do this big part. Anything that's exposed wall, I have to do. Like there's some exposed wall there, you know. But I think, because this is already dry over here, I should be able to throw another coat, which will make it nice. Before I get out of here. New things, yeah, I'll have to look. I haven't really looked at them. But it is good to see you guys. It's good to be here. And like I said, we'll probably have a shortened time working on this. Because all I really want to do is get the walls painted on here, and then we can call it a day. So it allows it to dry overnight. Because we're going to be starting, now that these walls are going to be painted, I might even do like 3 or 4 coats on it, you know, because it's thin. But once these walls are painted, and it's all dry, and it's the color we want, you know, it's the texture and everything we want, we're going to have to start putting on the millions of twinkling lights on here. And that in itself is going to be a chore, because you'd think they'd make some kind of little dots or something to give you for the lights, but they don't. So it's either squeeze one of those plastic bags, which I can't do, or it's make each one of the twinkling lights either with a thin paintbrush. Thank you for the gift. Thank you. Or make the twinkling lights with a toothpick. So, I mean, it's either way, it's a job to do. So that's what I'm talking about. It's going to take longer than we expect, because you got to do all the roof with those twinkling lights, the sides of the house with the twinkling lights. And the trick is they have to line up, which really kind of makes things interesting too. But I like doing this stuff. It's good for me. I was always doing projects even as a kid, but this is the stuff that calms me down, keeps me level. Like if I wasn't doing this and I had a couple real nice, I do have a couple Legos to build, but some nice Lego sets, like Cousin Eddie's thing that we're getting. It keeps me calm. It keeps my mind busy. Grew up doing projects. Good to see you all. So as we work our way to the vacation house, so it looks like it's going to dry fast, so I should be able to at least do a second coat before we quit today on all this stuff. Boy, the stores are crowded today, man. Even going down, I'm not going to say what street I live off of, but just going to the store so I can make my left turn over the busy street. Going north, it was just bumper to bumper. And I think it's because this is really the first day without horrible rain and wind that we've had, because we've had nothing but rain and wind. I gotta cut that thing. I call them brush boogers. I hate brush boogers. That one's driving me crazy. Where'd it go? Right there. Problem is, where there's one, there's more. This is cheap paintbrushes. Cheap paintbrushes. Tomorrow I get to go check out my glasses. So I have to set up an appointment to see if I can get some contact lenses. I haven't had contacts in like a year. I've been missing my contacts. Contact lens withdrawal. Then we'll get in here with a smaller brush for these areas. Maybe I don't have to. Just the edges. And then my good friend Mary Muter sent me chocolate. She makes chocolate. And so she sent me chocolate for Christmas. And it got lost somewhere. So she just shipped some out yesterday for me. So I'll be able to share that with you when I get it. Her chocolate's really good too. But it's homemade chocolate. Yum, yum, yum. Just what I need is more chocolate, right? Okay, let me get around the edges on this and we'll look at, and then I'm going to go ahead and do another coat, I think, on these. Like I said, I think doing another coat would be really good on these. Because this stuff, again, is going to get covered up. I mean, all the paint I do on here is going to be covered up with that other yellow. You know, with those little yellow, those, what is it? Millions of twinkling yellow lights is what he put on his house. So that's what we'll call it. Millions of twinkling yellow lights. Or white lights. Warm, right? The warm lights are yellow. Hi, everybody. If you haven't given us a follow, give us a follow. We're a fun bunch. I do this and I do tarot card readings in the evenings. If you're looking for fun, we have fun. I have OCD. So when I do my tarot card readings, it's not like anything you've ever seen. Because I can't sit there and just do reading after reading after reading. My OCD won't allow it. So it gets to be pretty wild at night. A lot of laughing and giggling. My readings are accurate, but a lot of laughing and giggling from everybody because it can be funny. Especially if I forget the words to a song or something. Okay, so we'll let this one dry. So give me a follow. You can find us when we come on tonight. So I'll show you this guy. This guy's dry. This guy's got dry now. See that yellow? See? I got to find places to set these as I'm doing them. Okay, so I don't want to get this so gunky either because I need that for the card reads tonight. So yeah, so let me do the eaves and stuff here. Then I'll redo that. I'm going to redo this one. That's the yellow it should be. See how bright that is? That's how yellow it should be. And I think after a second coat, in fact, let's do a second coat on this one, see what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to throw a second coat on here. Let's throw a second coat of paint on here. And we should get the desired yellow. Think of that first coat as the primer coat, right? And it should work nicely. But I do have to take my car in, and it used to be only when it rained where I would get locked into my car, where the door gets jammed, the door gets stuck, and I can't get out. But I've noticed it, because it would stop. Like, let's say it was raining this morning, and then it stops for 3 hours. And then I go get my car, it used to be no problem. But I've noticed that even those times now, it's getting more and more difficult to get in, to like open my door once I'm in my car. So I'm going to have all that done and looked at. Now, theoretically, this coat should make this even more yellow looking. Theoretically. Murphy's Law will kick in, however, because I know it will. But this is what I do in quiet time when I'm not so tired. I'll do this. I have, my family's aware of it. I have projects all over my house. One room has like 3 projects. Another room has 3 projects. I've got constant projects all over my house. Just like something I have to do this year before I set up my backyard aloha is I'm going to have to restain my tiki mats. I have like 8 tiki mats, and they've all gotten beat up. So I'm going to have to restain all my tiki masks. So that's going to be a project come the spring. But that'll have to be done outside because my allergies just won't cope well with it. Well, let's see how this one looks now. Now that I did a second coat on it. Look at that. Now that's yellow compared to what it was. So the second coat, there's the normal back and there's that. Look at that. Look at the difference in the yellow. See that? See the difference in the yellow? All right, so 2 coats should do it then. Maybe we'll do 3. Maybe we'll come in tomorrow and do a quick coat on them. Not bad, huh? Okay, so let me move on to some smaller window areas. We do have a broken piece I'm repairing. I'll thank my sister and niece for the Subway gift cards. I'm doing Subway today. And I did get McDonald's gift cards. So that was cool too. And movie gift cards. Saving up, man. The Mandalorian and Grogu. That movie can't get here fast enough for me. Saving all those gift cards. My friend and I are saving our gift cards up to go see Mandalorian and Grogu. Got my Disney Channel for myself for Christmas and been watching Mandalorian and Ahsoka and all those. I'm not into the intellectual Star Wars. Star Wars is fun because it's mindless. It's mindless fun. If I want intellectual space, I'll watch Star Trek. That's why I love Galaxy Quest, man. Galaxy Quest is something at the top of my list all the time because it's funny. Okay, so I'm painting, and then, 2 coats, maybe 3 coats. Maybe after the show tonight, if I feel energetic, I'll come in here and throw a 3rd coat on these things. We'll see. To get it that nice yellow, but we don't want it to be too bright because the little lights themselves are going to be bright yellow. But imagine when we first started up doing this, it took days to just even get the windows done before I started figuring out stuff and how to get around it. Okay, so this is ready to dry. Very cool. That was drying, so that's very cool. I don't mind doing multiple coats, to keep it nice and yellow. Probably use the smaller one over here. But too much news going on right now, too stressful. And so doing things like this is good. Just like my show, like I tell people, if I can make people laugh and smile for 2 or 3 hours a night, I'm doing good. Because look at this, my hair naturally parts in the middle. For years, because I'm not going to say how old I am, that was the style where your hair parted in the middle. And hello, Lori. Good to see you. And so now, even after all these years of not parting in the middle, because for 15, 20 years I spike it because it's easier to get out with. But it's still automatically, when it gets long, it automatically parts in the middle. Okay, so we gotta let this dry. Make space. So this is working out perfectly. Let me get this little one done. Then I have just some plain sides to do. I'm not going to touch the roof because I think the roof. Let me look at the roof. Let me look at this real quick. Colors. So it looks to me like I could paint the roof that color, but I would think that the roof would be the black slate color. With the other stuff on top of it. In fact, that's what we're probably going to do because we have a lot of that gray color left. And I think what I'll do is I'll water that down you know, when we get close to doing the roof on here, and I'll go ahead and make that gray because the roof should be like slate color. And then you would add the yellow lights on there, and then you would add the snow for the roof. And again, if you haven't seen Disney's new Haunted Mansion movie, it's pretty funny. Working with psychics all my life, other than myself, and seeing the psychic in there, she cracks me up. She cracks me up. I'm not going to give it away, but it's just, to me, I fell off my chair laughing. It was so funny to me. Because I've known psychics like her over the years. Hey, Lori, what's happening? How you doing? How's Mom? How's your mama doing? Okay, so that one's painted. So now we wait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repaint the front because the front's really lumpy. I got that one to do, this little tiny one. Because the front turned out lumpy yesterday because me and my infinite wisdom, I think all those centerpieces have to be painted too. Me and my infinite wisdom, I just kept painting. When I was having trouble with it and it was so thick, I just kept painting. Oh, thanks, Beverly. I want to do more stuff like this with you guys. Last Christmas, we did a bunch of them. I mean, last Christmas, I would go on and I'd be on, like it was Sunday night. And Sunday night, I stayed on till what, 10:30? We started at like 6:30. And last year, not the 2025, 2024, we went on almost every night, every week like that. And we spent 4 or 5 hours either doing gingerbread houses or Legos or stuff like that, you know. So this year, you know, because I'm doing the show regularly, there's not really enough time to do that. But hey, look, you guys, it's smoothing it out. That's what I wanted because it's so rough. Looked like I stuccoed the front. But now it's smoothing it out. Oh, yeah, that's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping would happen. It's smoothing out the stuff I messed up yesterday. But again, even if I mess things up, you got to remember, we're going to put thousands of twinkling lights on. Well, you know what I mean. Like according to the movie, right? Thousands of twinkling lights on this house. It will fill in, though. I'm liking that. See, it's already, this room is very hot. This is one of the warmest, in fact, this is the warmest room in my house. That's why it belonged to my mother, because older people freeze. So she got this room. But like I've been telling people, it's really funny right now. Talk about eating crow. My house is hot. When you walk through the front door, it's like you're walking into hell because the heat just hits you and envelops you. And I kept it that way for my mom. And my furnace is very sensitive. So the last thing I want to do is start moving the knobs around on it and stuff because the furnace has issues. And like last year, thank God, towards the end of winter, but I had a month where the furnace, I couldn't get the furnace back on because the thermostat is real sensitive to touch. So if you push it just a little bit on one end, it'll lose its connection. So I did something like that. And wouldn't you know it, the last week or so before spring hit, it went back down to the 20s and 30s, and I froze, man. Okay, throw a little more water in here. There we go. I froze. And this year, I told myself that no matter what happens, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching that. I'm not touching the thermostat So when you walk in here and you initially walk in the house, it's very, very hot. But because my fireplace, there's no carpeting, and my fireplace, the house has a pretty open design for being an older house. And like where the den is was an outdoor patio. And over that roof in there, because it was an outdoor patio, there's no insulation over that part of the roof. Okay, we'll let this dry now. But there was no insulation. So you got the cold coming in from that room. And then my fireplace, which we don't use anymore because it's gas, I have a fakey, log in there. My fireplace, even when the flue is closed, it's cold. And it makes the room cold. And again, there's no carpeting. So I used to laugh at my mom, because I was in t-shirts and shorts for years. And I used to laugh at my mother because, she'd be sitting there watching TV and bundled up. And I used to laugh at her. And now I've become my mother. Now I sit there watching TV and I'm bundled up and I know the house is hot. I know this house is really hot. So, got it. Okay, we're going to fill it over there. Where's a smaller brush for that? Right here. So I can get in there with it. So I know the house is hot, but yet I'm sitting in there bundled up like I'm freezing all the time. I've got sweatshirts on, sweatpants. But if I were to shut this door, within about 15 minutes, I'd have to open the door again because it's so hot in here. This room becomes a sauna. Okay, that should do it around the front door. So we'll do another one and then we'll double do this. But like I said, it's probably going to be a short day today. Because if I can get like 3 coats of this yellow on here, again, we could start, it dries nice, it looks nice. We can start applying the hundreds of thousands of twinkly lights. Like Clark Griswold, like Clark W. See, I just redid that one. Looks a lot yellow, huh? And that's what we want. All right, I think that's part of the roof there. The part that broke is part of the roof. So we'll put these two. All right, let me do this little window. What time we got? 2:48. Oh, we're doing good. I may have a nice long dinner, which is good tonight. Nice sub sandwich. Feeding my dogs. The whole thing with the contacts is I love contacts. I haven't had them for a while. I haven't been able to afford them or to get my check for contacts to afford them. But after going, I can get 1 or 2 temporary pair. Because I've got an eye test at the DMV coming up. And if my glasses aren't done in time, that's going to be a problem. So if I can get in, get my contacts done, get some temporaries, not wear the temporaries until like a week before, and maybe my glasses will be done. But if the glasses aren't going to be ready in time, not wear the temporaries. See the yellow? And then save them. All right, I want to do these. I don't know where this goes to. That might be a block on the roof. I don't know where that goes to. I gotta look at the thing. Let's see if that's going to be if that's a paintable thing or no. But at least I'll have temporary contacts to do my eye test with. So that's what we want. Let's see what we got. Okay, there's an end cap on that, which I did. The build on this is really crazy. Okay, so that goes inside. That's going to brace part of the roof. That's why that's there, right? I don't know. That doesn't look like they painted it. So I'm going to say no, that's not getting painted. So this is not getting painted. Now, as opposed to the other ones, Oh, it juts out from there. So as opposed to these other pieces, like this guy, I don't know where this guy even goes. Now, you guys want to see what it's supposed to look like when I'm done? It's supposed to look like this, right? As opposed to what I make it look like. So I don't know where this goes. I think this is that inside one. You're not going to see it because the roof is on there. I think that's an inside brace. And then I think this other piece is part of that roof system for this. I think it must go on like this. That's part of the roof. I think. So, okay. So I'm going to do a second coat on this stuff. And should get nice and yellow for us like it is right now. See it? Look at that. Nice and yellow. You can bet your butt that Clark's wife, if this was real, okay? If this was like reality. See how that's kind of yellow, but it's not. If this was like real life, a house to be yellow, you can bet Clark didn't have a say in it. You can bet your bottom dollar. It was Ellen, the wife, right? That wanted the house painted yellow. Because in Clark's defense, okay, they live in Chicago. All right. I found this over the years because my dad grew up in Cleveland. And he liked bright colors. So I don't know if the younger generation is like that, but I know the older generation, because all my dad's relatives were older, they all wanted to wear big rainbow colors and pastels. And maybe it's because, it's always overcast and snowing. I don't know. But that was their thing. Even my relatives from Cleveland. And maybe that's the whole thing behind this, because they're in Chicago and they want to have a nice bright outlook when it snows and blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's why this house is painted yellow. I mean, that could be the reasoning. Yes, I do. I do get points, and I get points for shares. Yes, I do. We're also broadcasting off the other network that I can't say. So we're doing TikTok. Where'd you come in? Oh, yeah. We're doing TikTok. We're doing where you're coming in, Lori, and then we're doing the other network, the other guys that I can't say on TikTok. I'm just glad the rain stopped. I'll be shooting video of my front Christmas lights probably this weekend because I had to order. Some LEDs for the front. So I'll be shooting photos of that for you guys because I promised to show you guys. And I was low on lights. So, I had to really improvise in a lot of places in my front yard this year. Okay, so as these dry, we're just going to keep coating. I think this one's on the third coat right here. I'll keep coating and keep the production going here. It's too bad we can't play music. Shelly, you'll have to check out that mermaid gift from TikTok. I've never seen that before. I got to check that bad boy out. I can put a song on that one. Figure out something from the Little Mermaid. I know we can do it. When she makes the transition into a human. That's the best ride. Disneyland has some great rides. Peter Pan, the kiddie rides, and you got, the Haunted Mansion. But honestly, God, the one that's basic, and you can see clear across it. Usually they push you through different rooms, is the Little Mermaid. And it's cool because you can see everything going on like way over on the other side of you going through. And it's just basically done. It's like they had one big warehouse to do it in without the walls, and then to do it cheaply without the walls. And that's what they did. And it turns out so good. The way they have it. It's busy, like information overload kind of thing, but it works. It does work. It's kind of like the Haunted Mansion. Like once you get out of the main thing where you get dumped in the graveyard. Because that's, you can tell that's a big old warehouse job. And somebody had an interesting theory about the Haunted Mansion, which I think is pretty cool. Okay? There's a lady that's in the attic. She's got her, it's supposed to be Constance Hatchaway, but they're messing with the story. I'm talking the one in Los Angeles. And one of the Disney content creators had an interesting theory. And it never occurred to me until I went on the ride and thought about it. Is that when you get on this ride, you go through the ballroom, that famous ballroom where the ghosts are having the party and all that. But then you go in the attic, and that's where you see Constance, and you see pictures of her lovers and all this. And you go through, you end up in her bedroom, what used to be her bedroom. But what's interesting is at some point, you turn around backwards and you're going down like this. You're going down an angle. You're looking at the ceiling of the Haunted Mansion. What this gal said, what she got out of the story, I don't know where she got her info, but what she got out of the story was that Constance, because all her lovers went missing and all that. What happens is when you get up in that attic area with Constance throws you out the window. And that's why you go backwards. In theory, you're facing Constance, and then she runs up and pushes you out the window. So then, that's the whole falling backwards into the cemetery. I thought that was an interesting theory. All right, let's move this over here. Let that dry. Okay, get this guy. This guy's ready to be painted again. But I thought it was a really cool theory. So every time I go on that ride, I'll never think of it the same way twice. I'll always think that I'm falling out the attic window. Now, here's food for thought with this thing. Everybody's asking me if I'm going to eat it when I'm done. Here's food for thought for you. I'm putting multiple coats of watered down frosting on this thing. Okay? You would think at some point the cookie would start to soften up, but it doesn't. So there's some food for thought about how old this thing probably is. Good to see you all. Don't forget to give us a like and follow over there. And I'm also trying to collect 10 ice cream sundaes over there. Can you guys help me out with that? But like I said, I always find it interesting, the Disney rides, to look at them and see, just like the Pirates of the Caribbean, that's one big warehouse. Maybe I shouldn't say nothing about the Magic for people that haven't gone yet. But that one's separated in sections. Where the Little Mermaid has one little section that's separated once you get in there. And then you flip, you're in the middle of the ocean, underwater in the ocean with Sebastian and all that going on. So as I put multiple coats on this thing, make it stand out. And again, we don't want it too yellow because the lights themselves are bright yellow. I think you're yeller if you ask me. It's one of those days I didn't want to get up. I was having some really cool dreams. You hate to get up. Okay, so this can go back and dry off. But like I said, the stores are packed today. I mean, they're just packed. Couldn't park at the 98-cent store, the 99-cent store. Ended up gave it up and went to Safeway and paid a little more for my dog food. Okay, so let's this one dry. So here's this. This can dry. But what's going to take the longest is putting all those lights on here. So Cousin Eddie's trailer should be here sometime next week, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll get Cousin Eddie's RV. So that'll be fun. Here, let's get on this one. At the front. Oh, no, not quite dry yet. Okay, we'll wait. But you're dry, so we'll get to you. So Cousin Eddie's RV is coming. That's going to be almost a 600-piece build, and they're going to be teeny tiny little pieces. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you all. If you haven't given us a like or follow, give us a follow. We're a fun bunch. We love you people, man. We love you all. No politics, no religion. Just having a good time. Good to see Lori over there on the other network. So I'll be back tomorrow, I hope around 2. Like I said, I gotta get like normal dog food for the dog, so I gotta venture out tomorrow. I don't like feeding her canned food all the time. So I gotta go get her kibble tomorrow. And then I gotta check on my glasses and all that. So we'll see, it might be a 3 o'clock tomorrow. We don't know yet. To do this. So just have to wait and see how it all works out. If I get trapped in my car, who knows? One time I was trapped for so long. I was like 35 minutes trapped in my car. I had to wait for the neighbor to get home to open up my door to get me out. No bueno. Change brushes. This one's got brush boogers too, but not quite as bad. I'm thinking maybe 4 coats and we're good on this. We'll be good on at least. Okay, this guy can dry now. Keep it round and keep it rolling. Put that right there. These are drying faster, I think, because the 2 bright lights are up here and they're really warm. Everybody looks happy. I got 3 of you over here, and then there's 2 of you over here. Normal TikTok audience for a project like this. Now, yesterday when I did this, I had the same kinds of numbers, but over on the other network that I can't mention, it turns out there were 85 people watching me. I've had nights where there's 300 or 400 people watching me do this stuff. That's going on nice and thick. I like it. Oh, yeah. Word of warning for you guys that have heated seats in an older car. I used to have mine on all the time because of my back problems. The key word is used to. And when they finally shorted out, I'm sitting there in a pair of shorts in my car. And all of a sudden, I feel this intense burning. And it felt like, not so much burning like all over my leg, but it felt like somebody took a hot poker. And it was a smaller poker, like a needle size. And you could feel it like in one spot. Very uncomfortable. And then within a few minutes, it all stopped. And my heated seats are no more, I enjoyed those because with my back problem, it kept me for years heated. I would have a heated seat to drive with. Kept my back feeling good. Okay, so are you ready yet? Yes, you are. Okay. Back to this guy. Big brush. Okay. But this got done quick today, which is nice. So tomorrow it might be like I said, it might be like 3 o'clock. Then I get on to doing this stuff. My stomach's not very happy today. It's talking to me. Oh, and my dog. She always gets a combination of dry and canned food. Last night it was all canned food. It's going to be canned food tonight too. And man, dog needs to eat roughage. She majorly needs to eat some roughage. It was crazy all night. And then she had her tummy was upset. So of course she wanted to lay on top of me, and in the meantime, we'll just say she needed more roughage in her diet. All right, let me get between the windows on here. That's not the one I wanted. I wanted the other one. The little brush. We gotta get right here between. We're doing the doorway. And they were able to make the stuff look 3D, which was cool. Now, probably when I do the roof, I'll probably layer some more gray on the steps. The first steps. See if we can't get it looking gray. Like a 3D thing. There we go. See, that one's already dry over there. All right, anything else in here? No, that was it, huh? So I'll chit-chat with you for a little bit longer, and then we'll do another coat. We're going to make sure this is yellow. We'll make it yellow. I have barely enough for another coat on this stuff, so we'll see. That one over there has 3 coats already. I love it because it is soaking in. See how nice and yellow now? Which is more than it was yellow before. I'll try a third coat on here. It's going to get tight because I'm running low on this stuff. And I don't want to, make a bunch more. I just want to get as much done with this as I can. As soon as I do this coat on everything, we're going to call it today. Because there's not much more I can do until this is dry and we start laying in the main lights on here. At some point, we have to glue it all together too and make sure it goes together right. There we go. 3 coats on this one. Okay. I could put a 4th coat. We'll see how I feel about that. Okay, let's find the dry stuff so I can do it. That's not going to be ready. That one's ready. Okay. Believe it or not, this little one I did is ready. This double. It's ready for another coat. That one almost still looks white, doesn't it? See? This one looks really good. This has 3 coats on it. Look at that, nice and yellow. That cool or what? Nice and yellow. It's funny because with these lights in here, I can't see the yellow at all. So let me grab this, and we'll do this. Valentine's Day is coming. I can tell you that Cupid threw up all over the dollar store right now. Safeway is almost to the point. In another couple of days, the Safeway is going to look like Cupid threw up there. All right, let's do this bigger one. Oh, you're not quite dry, are you? That's wet right there. Well, you'll do. See here for a minute. Let that dry. So, yeah. So this is probably going to be all we're doing today. What time is it? 3:10. Early day today. And then tomorrow, yeah, this has to dry. And then tomorrow we'll continue. Like I said, we're gonna have to loosen up that grade for the roof and stuff, and same process. Get these things painted. But tomorrow, at least, I'll get to start put little droplet lights on here. Now this one, you can tell there's yellow on here because it's really thick. Where with these other ones, you can't. See, I can tell them just sitting here, but with the other ones, you can't. So who's going to come over? Oh, thank you for the mermaid, Lori B. Thank you. Onto the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me, bum 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 bum. Cool, that mermaid's. I'll have to check it out when I get off of here. Down to one person watching me. Okay, well, that's okay over there. At least we know we're broadcasting a Book of Face, and everybody came over from Book. Oh, we had one tube of you and a Book of Face. Thank you so much. But we're going to be doing stuff together probably all through January. I mean, like I said, we got this house. I got that other house to repair and finish off. Then I've got U.S. Mail elf, Christmas elf, Lego to build, a couple Harry Potter Legos. And plus we'll have the, after this will be Uncle Eddie's RV. So we can build that. Not Uncle Eddie, Cousin Eddie. I'm losing my mind. Cousin Eddie's RV. And then we're going to go right into Valentine's Day, and I have purchased a house that was on sale for Gingerbread House so that we can do the Valentine's house. Good to see everybody. Hi, Dances for You. If you haven't done so already, give me a follow. Like I said, I do psychic readings in the evenings. Oh my God, my hair got in here. Oh, I got it. I do psychic readings in the evenings, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun atmosphere. We have a lot of fun. Lori, who's in here tonight, Lori B, she's one of my original moderators, hanging out with us tonight. So I'm just waiting for this to dry, to get a bit of dry on this, and then I'm going to go ahead and do another coat of paint on it. It's just interesting how I can't see the color. I can see the color on that, but I can't see the color on this. And I know what's going on. More like a stain. Because here again, here's the main color when you see them from far off. I have like a golden umbrella over here, which is what throws a hue. But then, if you compare these two, this is a lot brighter. Yeah, let me do that. I can do it. So I don't drop the sucker. See how it's a different hue? It's a more brighter yellow. So that's what you want. Hi, Miranda Catherine. Thank you. How you doing? Yeah, see, it's a different yellow. Hi, Cindy. What's up? So yeah, so this will be this is the third coat on these, so I can make sure they're yellow. And I don't know about that center. I have to figure that out. But it'll be a short day today. So tomorrow again, stay tuned. I might make here. We're back. I'm figuring we're back over there. So yeah, I'm gonna do one more coat on this, and that's probably gonna do it for today. So tomorrow I'll be on the lookout, 2 or 3 o'clock. Not positive. I have, like I said, I've got to go shopping tomorrow and get some dog food and some other supplies, and then I have to go check out my glasses and see what's going on with those, and then I'll be back in to work. But thank you for the rose, Lori. Off with your head. I'll be back in to do this, But I've got stuff I have to do tomorrow, some errands. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's a little wet, but you know what? You just got to go with it. We're just going to go with it. So we can wrap up tonight. Besides, I've got a sub sandwich waiting for me. I knew today was going to be a short day coming in to do this. And who knows, maybe tonight I'll take a look at this and think, wow, I should add a fourth coat, on it. So we'll see how I feel. How things go with the other show. But like I said, we're going to be busy the next month or two. Doing the other Christmas house, doing this, building Cousin Eddie's RV. And we got, like I said, the other 2 Legos, Christmas Lego, and then I've got a couple Harry Potter Legos to build. And then we have the Valentine's house. And then we'll be doing Valentine's readings too. I just wish the TikTok wasn't filtering as much as it does, because it's hindering us for doing the Valentine's readings. It really is hindering us, because people, you should be able to ask a question about your love life before I draw the cards, and nobody could do that the last time I did this. Ooh, Quiche, I'm coming to your house. Cereal Mom, what happened? Everybody go to Lori's house. She's making quiche. Sad. The Disney Christmas tree goes down tomorrow. Last day of Christmas at Disneyland. I love it. I love the holidays. Maybe that's why I like to do stuff like this, because it kind of reminds me of the holidays, because I started doing gingerbread houses a long time ago when my friend would travel. Because my friend's sister would always live in Europe or somewhere else, like Singapore and places like that. And my friend would always go for the holidays to visit her. So my friend would leave gifts that she's gotten, like different cakes and stuff for me to eat. And then I got into where, there was really nothing to do, on the holidays. So I would, other than my lights and stuff, so I got into building gingerbread houses to pass the time. And then once my mother got old, we would build, we would build stuff too, and do crafting and stuff. Hi, Lenny. So if anybody would like to give us a follow, let me know. Just go ahead and give us a follow. I'll be back at 6:45 p.m. tonight, Pacific, and we'll be doing 3-card tarot card reads, past, present, future. They are free. So I'll be back to doing that tonight. So we're just waiting to see how's this one look with the third, because there's 3 on these already. Nice and yellow. See that? Nice and yellow. But it's weird because that thing, like I said, that light over there throws yellow. See the difference? Now you can really see the difference on these. See the yellow versus this? There you go. Yellow versus that. So what is the correct color now? Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Love you. Yeah, I'm gonna be popping off of here. I think we're pretty well done for the day. I'm out of the frosting I made, so I'll have to make more frosting tomorrow. But you guys, come on and give us a follow. Yeah, in 3 hours, yeah. So I'll go eat my dinner and then pass out for at least an hour and a half before coming in here to clean this up. A lot coming up, and I want to get my radio show launched again. I know you guys like my paranormal talk show. Want to get that launched again, and working on that process right now, and starting to book guests and stuff, and get that going. And again, this is a way for me to figure out a schedule for that. If we're doing the 2 shows, to see if I have enough stamina to do 2 shows, right? So technically, if I could do my radio show at anywhere between 12 to 2 o'clock, and it lasts an hour, and I'm off by 3, then I'm able to eat some dinner and then take a rest before I do the other show. So that might be the way to do it. Maybe set it up for 2 o'clock shows. And you guys can come and see the show. And it's a pretty good show. I put on my journalism hat, when I do the show. How's that one look since I did it? Very good. So this came out nice. Let me look at it from the push my luck. I'll be farting around with these, picking them up, and I'll drop them. See, very good. Nice and yellow. Two things you learn. I really got irritated with the video lighting this year, and that when I went to buy new video lights, to add to what I had, everything was fluorescent light. And when I took photography in college, fluorescent lights were a big no-no. Thank you for the finger heart. Someone gave me the finger. Oh, Cindy gave me the finger. Of course you did. We were taught that fluorescent lights are deadly for cameras, to the point where when you shot in a room that had fluorescent lights, you used to have a blue filter, or I forget what it was, blue or green filter, because what would happen when you took pictures of people there, they looked blue with a camera. And that's because of that light, that yellow light coming off of fluorescence. So we used to have to filter our cameras, back in the old days, before digital cameras. So when I ended up buying, because I have older cameras and stuff. When I ended up buying older, because the original ones had regular bulbs that I had. When I ended up buying some extras for traveling and stuff, they all had fluorescent. Like right now, I'm on fluorescent, and that's why when you look at this, when I look at this, it looks like the cookie house. Now, when I put it up to the light, it goes yellow like it's supposed to. That's because the lighting is like it is. That's why I have to counter. To the right, I have a big white muted light. Okay. To my left now over here is a big gold umbrella to bring color into my face. You're 67? Well, then you remember all that, all those lights, and then the way it worked. I'm not going to say how old I am. Let's just say I'm a few years behind you, Cindy, but I'm there. It's one of those deals that when I'm going to put my age into something, I have to spin it like the Wheel of Fortune. Hey, Mary Miles, good to see you. Welcome back. That sucker spins like the Wheel of Fortune, but I have to do it. So I think that's going to do it. As you can see, we're just about out of frosting on this. So we'll continue tomorrow. I might, like I said, I may add a fourth coat. I don't know yet for this stuff. But I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll be moving this back off of here and then putting it back over in its spot for tonight's show. But it's been fun, everybody. We had a good day out of this. 3:30, I think we're good. Yeah, 3:23. So that's going to do it. And looking forward to seeing you guys tonight. We'll continue with this tomorrow. Like I said, just be on the lookout because I have all those errands to run, so I'm not particularly sure if it's going to be a 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific thing tomorrow. But we'll definitely be doing this tomorrow because the sooner I get done, I may add 2 more coats to this tomorrow. The sooner we get done with this, and I got to paint the roof that gray color. The sooner we get done with this part, the sooner I can start applying those millions of little light bulbs. All right. Hang on, TikTok. Okay, over here on the other streams. Thank you for coming. I'll see you later. And if you're able to have a TikTok, come join California Haunts tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so let me get you out of here.